A new artistic spin on an old-time tradition at the Duluth Public Library today. If you've stopped into the library in the past few weeks, you may have noticed a penny press machine. It's part of a project called the Minnesota Artists Penny Press. The project chooses 4 artists from across the state to have their work imprinted onto pennies. Organizers say by creating portable art, the project gives local artists an opportunity to share their work with an increasing number of people. There was a special meet and greet today with Duluth-based artist Miri Villiard, who was chosen to have her work stamped onto the pennies. She says the project helps make owning a piece of art accessible for almost anyone.
You know, not everybody can buy an original big, piece of artwork, but this is a different way to sort of celebrate and have that little piece and have that connection to artists in your community.
The cost of a stamped penny is 51 cents, including the penny. Organizers say proceeds will go to future experimental public arts projects.
I loved these things when I was younger.